Here with the Digital Digest, and today I'm unboxing the Lenovo Legion 9i for 2024. Now, the 9i originally launched last year, and I did spend some time with it, and I can tell you I was blown away by essentially the kitchen sink that Lenovo was able to stuff into this really best-in-class machine. And now, with the second generation, the refresh, we have Intel's 14th rather than 13th generation processor. Not a real difference, I would say, between what you'll be able to do with one versus the other, but of course, with every new generation, we get a refresh. So, again, we have an Intel i9 14th gen chip, best in class right now. We have an NVIDIA RTX 4090 with 16 gigs of RAM, also best in class. We have 32 gigs of DDR5 that can be upgraded if you deem it necessary. We also have 2 terabytes of internal NVMe, incredibly fast storage set up in a RAID array, really to just push that bleeding edge performance even beyond. We have great I/O, including an SD card reader, and then we even have one of, in my opinion, again, the best displays on any machine on the market, a 16-inch mini LED display, 3200 by 2000 res. It is really something to behold. So with that out of the way, let's get this thing out of the box. It is already open because a lot of the review units that I get from Lenovo have already been reviewed, and this is no exception. This machine has been out for a while, and by the way, I'll include a link in the description. Presently, this model is selling for $3,300. And I think that that's actually a really good price when you take into account exactly what you're getting here. And this is essentially not only what I perceive to be one of the best machines on the market. Granted, I haven't spent time with this one yet, with the 14th gen i9 from Intel. But overall, the previous generation already had set the bar. So I have really high expectations for what this machine is going to deliver on. This is the actual packaging. You can see here. I'll go ahead and slide over the box. And it does come with 2 chargers. You get the 330-watt charger as well as a 140-watt charger. So essentially, if you ever want to travel light with this, you can. And something to be aware of is that this machine weighs in at 5.5 pounds, but it's going to deliver performance that exceeds my desktop running a 3090 Ti. In fact, it's going to get really close to matching the performance of an NVIDIA RTX desktop 4080 build, which is simply mind-blowing. So I'm going to start off by sharing with all of you the chargers, and then we'll get to the machine itself. Has I think, a really nice carbon fiber lid. Of course, everyone's going to have slightly different opinion of that lid because, well, everyone has different taste. So again, we've got the 330-watt charger right here, which they've actually considerably reduced the size of. So even if you want to travel with full performance, I don't think that's bad at all. And then the 140-watt charger should be in here as well. We have keycap replacements in the event you want to actually replace the keys on the machine. Again, just telling you how premium. There's the 140-watt adapter. So if you want to travel light, you can. And really, you'd only use this in the event you knew that you didn't need to game with this machine, because ultimately, this is all about getting that bleeding edge performance. The keycap little package here, I will show you quickly. Let me go ahead and, seems this was not opened. Nobody looked at this in the past. Let me go ahead and break the seal on that. And really, this is aimed at those of you that are looking for a true desktop replacement. And that's how I can best put this. You know, if what you're after is a desktop and a laptop body, a 4.5-pound package at that, that's what you're going to get. And that is, well, amazing. Does everyone need that? Absolutely not. But if you know you do, whoop, as I lose some of these caps, then you're going to be, I think, really happy with what Lenovo has done. So as you can see, it comes with all of the niceties for keyboard customization, the tool, replacement keys, cleaning cloth, all of that stuff. So that's just another touch of Lenovo really showing you that they have tried to think of literally everything when it comes to the Legion 9i being the creme de la creme of mobile computing, even though I'm having trouble closing that up. Let's go ahead and pop that back in. This is not something I see why got a little key sticking out, that I personally would go gaga over. But for anyone that is an enthusiast, I can absolutely see why this would be relevant. Let's finally get to the machine, which I'm really excited about, because if you're wondering what this can actually accomplish, let's hash that out. Because ultimately, a machine like this is promising to deliver, as I said, the performance of a true workstation. So you're talking about, if you want to game in 4K, I mean, that mini LED display that it comes with, again, 3200 by 2000 res, that's basically just about 4K already. Then take into account that you can actually hook this up to an external monitor and get 4K Ultra, or at least that's what I'm anticipating, performance. And that's just, well, off the charts. I mean, this is the realization of something that I've ultimately been waiting for, I want to say, for most of my life, because it truly delivers an uncompromising package. And there you have it. The raw carbon fiber, I believe it's recycled finish, so no machine is going to look exactly like the other, which is very cool. And this is what I was saying. It's not a style for everyone, but certainly something that I think can be appreciated in a world of machines that, well, look exactly like one another. And the I/O on this is just amazing. It literally covers every corner. I mean, if I could dream up a perfect machine, this is just about as close as it gets. So I'm going to move the box away, just some paperwork in here, nothing too interesting. And let's get to the machine, take a tour of it, let's boot this thing up, and I'm going to talk about what I plan to do with it. Because realistically, yes, you have the most powerful, or one of the most powerful computers on the market that's portable, 5.5 pounds. But if you're not traveling, this really is a desktop. Will it get loud? Of course. It's got to stay cool. It has liquid cooling, but it's going to give you performance that, well, you wouldn't have otherwise. So let me go ahead and zoom in so you can take a look at the ports here. Get tight, so to speak. And starting with the right side, you can see we have a privacy switch, a Type-C port. This is not a Thunderbolt port. And then we have a Type-A port. So they're already covering, in my opinion, all of the bases on the right side. Some ventilation, just excellent build quality. We come around to the back of the machine, and this is really where all of the I/O is. You have a 2.5 gig Ethernet port. We have our, I believe that is a Type-A port. Tough for me to see there on my monitor. Thunderbolt ports, 2 Thunderbolt ports. These are Thunderbolt 4. HDMI 2.1 and another, I was going to say another Type-A port, but this is actually the power port for the 330 watt supply. Come around to the left side of the machine, and what do you see there? A full-size SD card reader. So really a very competent realization that this machine can do it all, and that if you're a photographer, videographer, this is going to be ideal, because that display that I've been mentioning, it is for color proofing, not just a 165 hertz gaming monster. So it is the best of both worlds, and while I love OLED displays, I've seen this one, as I stated, it is amazing. You have a 3.5 millimeter headphone microphone combo jack, and then of course on the front of the machine, really nothing except the lid, which has a full HD, a 1080p webcam. Of course, designation for all the ports at the back there. I said of course, and you couldn't see it, but now you can. So let's go ahead and open this up. More designations and a little overlay. And let's actually look at this keyboard. Now, something to talk about with the keyboard, and it's a little controversial in that obviously the trackpad here is really small, but I would argue that they had to make everything fit. And if this is what they had to concede, I don't see that as being a big deal. Would I prefer it was larger? Sure. Do I think this will be serviceable? Absolutely. What's more important to me is that the keyboard quality is maintained. And for those of you that don't know, Lenovo is, in my opinion, the best in the business. So when we're talking about, the best overall keyboard that you could possibly have on a laptop, Lenovo, time and time again, wins that award ever since they acquired IBM's ThinkPad division. The keyboard department in Lenovo has never been the same, nor has it ever looked back, nor should it. Full numpad, love it. Some of you don't. I think if you work for a living, which most of us do, it's always good to have that, but I get it. Some of you don't want to see it. You don't like the effect of the trackpad being offset as a result of trying to balance, where it's going to be located. Sticker and branding, some of you will complain about that. I really couldn't care less. Power button right there. RGB lighting, of course, is a thing. You can see the entire keyboard has per key RGB to your heart's content, whatever you want to do with that. Let me go ahead and take this wide so we get the display back in the shot. And really, what is amazing about this is that, as I keep saying over and over again, you are going to have a full-blown desktop in a 5.5-pound package. That's as far back as the screen can tilt back. But you have a full overhead shot. Don't worry, my full review will be in a first-person viewing angle. But let's go ahead and just unlock this. And already the display is gorgeous. And I knew this because, as I stated, I've spent some time with it, and it is really just that good. When I said that this could be one of the best displays I've ever seen on a laptop, I kid you not. And I'm not slumming it when it comes to my displays. I've got Samsung's 57-inch 8K ultra-wide, which is also mini LED. Guess what? This looks better. I'm not comparing the experience of having the 57-inch ultra-wide, really immersive experience, because you don't get that out of this. But for example, when I ran Helldivers 2 on the previous gen of this machine, the display blew me away. I saw detail that I didn't see playing at native rendering resolution using my desktop 4090 with the Samsung 57-inch mini LED 8K panel. And the only way that I think you really get into this class is with latest generation OLEDs. Remember, you have a 165 hertz refresh rate, but part of it is also just how bright this gets, and I'm not even sure that that's going to come across. Let me go ahead and... This is full brightness. I had a feeling, and just to give you an idea, if I take it all the way down, that is the lowest level. But again, the display is so good. I mean, that is, in my opinion, just as much a draw of this machine as every other component. The reason I call it the kitchen sink, they really did not leave any thing out. No corners were cut. Build quality is top notch. I mean, I think the only thing anyone can deduct any points for is the size of this trackpad. I'm expecting TimeSpy scores over 20,000, and as I said, that is right in line with a full-blown gaming desktop running a 4080. And remember, the 4090 in here is the exact same chip as the desktop 4080. It just isn't the exact same product because it's in a mobile platform. But that is one of the reasons the 4090 this year was so special. I'm hoping the 5000 series goes the same direction, because that means we're going to just luck out when it comes to at least one of these GPUs being inside of a mobile package like this. So again, if performance is what you're after, best of everything, you're probably not going to be upset by the Legion 9i. Granted, I'm speaking from last year's version, but I expect this to be the same or slightly better. So how can we really go wrong? But I'm curious what all of you think. Is this something that appeals to you? I know a lot of you view this as a money is no object scenario, and part of the basis for that consideration is that if you were to go with the Legion 7i Pro with a 4090, you'd probably save, I won't say $1,000, but you'd be spending more to $2,400 to $2,500 as opposed to $3,300. But I can tell you now, I think a machine like this, not just I think, I know it's better in just about every way. Build, construction, most importantly, the display. You can't get a display like this. And if you plan to do color critical work and game on the machine, you absolutely want this mini LED. That's all I have to say. That's part of the reason this is very much a dream machine for me, because it can serve to accomplish any task I want. And if you're, an architect, a video editor, someone who works in rendering, graphic design, there is nothing you're going to throw at this machine that it isn't going to be able to handle, and it will be able to match with its display. The only shortcoming, which I can't even take away points for, will be its battery life. And considering no machine can even, in my opinion, really do what this can, I mean, a lot of them come close, but I would argue this is probably the best laptop on planet Earth. I mean, can you really expect battery life out of something like this? Also, I want to point out that this does have the light strip that Lenovo has used in the past, but kind of sunset. I don't really care about this. This is all stuff that would be off for me, but something I still want to show. And then on the bottom of the machine, and it is a dense 5.5 pounds, just a ton of ventilation. But stay tuned for my update. I'll be going over all sorts of performance. I'll be, of course, benchmarking this with games like Helldivers 2, which I expect it to chew up and spit out. And I'll be hooking this up and using it as a practical desktop to see what it's like outputting, again, to my 42-inch OLED computer monitor. I don't think it's going to drive the 8K experience on the 57-inch Samsung, but I may be wrong. It may be able to hang. So we're going to find out. Give me some time, but let me know what all of you think. Is this something you would buy? Because I would make the argument that at $3,300, this could be a better purchase than a desktop. Of course, you'll get more power out of a $3,300 desktop, but how much of that will be appreciable? Can your software really make use of that extra headroom? And that'll be something I'll be talking about in my full review, and why this may amount to being my favorite workstation ever. Again, had I not spent time with the previous gen, even though it didn't make its way here to the channel because of my surgery, I wouldn't already have that reference point and be as excited about this machine as I am. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them at that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.